This is the story of one of the most widespread and influential languages on Earth, English. It begins with the Indo-European language family, stretching from the north of India all the way to Western Europe. Nearly half of the world's population speaks an Indo-European language, and that includes you and me. English belongs to this family. More specifically, it's part of the Germanic branch, sharing roots with languages like German, Dutch, and Swedish. But how did English become what it is today? In the early 5th century, the Romans, who had ruled Britain for over 400 years, withdrew from the island. Into the void came Germanic tribes from what we now call Denmark and northern Germany. Slowly but surely, they replaced the Celtic and Romano-British cultures that once dominated these lands. The Celtic peoples were pushed to the fringes, Wales, Scotland, and Cornwall, while the heart of the island, soon to be called England, became culturally Germanic. These Germanic settlers, though from many tribes, forged a shared identity as the Anglo-Saxons. And with the Anglo-Saxons, our story truly begins. The Anglo-Saxons spoke a language we now call Old English. But don't let the name fool you. Old English sounds nothing like what we speak today. To our modern ears, it's a foreign tongue. Here's a taste from the ancient epic Beowulf, Huet. We gardina in geardagum, theotsininga, thrimgefrunon, huda etelingas ellen fremedon. Could you understand that? Probably not. Most modern English speakers can't. Yet hidden in Old English are the seeds of everyday words we still use. Words like water, child, ear, talk, and even thee. The short, simple words you use daily, most come from this ancient tongue. But English didn't stay still. Like all living languages, it evolved, and most of its biggest changes came from outside influences. In the 8th century, waves of Norse invaders, the Vikings, sailed from Norway and Denmark, settling in northern England and carving out their own kingdom, the Danelaw. These Vikings spoke Old Norse, the ancestor of today's Scandinavian languages, and they left their mark. Thanks to them, English gained words like sky, bag, law, hit, and even they. But the story doesn't end there. In 1066, a man known as William the Bastard, later called William the Conqueror, led his Norman army across the Channel. After victory at the Battle of Hastings, England was forever changed. The Normans became the ruling elite, bringing with them a dialect of Old French, which became the language of power, law, and royalty. Meanwhile, Old English remained the language of the common folk. Over time, these two languages merged, creating Middle English. Ever wonder why English has so many words that seem French? Here's why. Nearly 30% of English vocabulary, around 10,000 words, come directly from French. Think of words used in law, science, and religion. You're speaking with a French twist. This dual heritage also explains why English has so many synonyms. A farmer might raise a cow, Anglo-Saxon, but on the Lord's table it's served as beef, Norman French. We say pig, but we eat pork. Chicken, but poultry. Two words for the same thing. One from the farm, one from the feast. As French and English fused, grammar simplified, bringing us closer to the language we know today. Yet Middle English still sounds strange to us. Take these famous opening lines from Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. "Wan that April with his showers suit, the draught of March hath pursed to the root, and bathed every vein in switch liquor, of which vertu engendered is the flower." By the 15th century, something extraordinary happened. The great vowel shift. English pronunciation changed dramatically. Long vowels shortened, diphthongs formed, and many consonants became silent. For example, the word knife was once pronounced knife. After the shift, silent K and I became AI, as in knife. Our spelling, however, didn't catch up, which is why English spelling is notoriously tricky even today. With this shift, English entered its early modern phase, the language of Shakespeare. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene, recognizable, but still laced with poetic flourishes and unfamiliar expressions. Then came the 16th century, and with it, the rise of the British Empire. As Britain expanded, so did its language, spreading English to the far corners of the globe. By the 19th century, the empire covered a quarter of the earth and touched nearly a quarter of the world's population. New lands brought new words, new inventions brought fresh vocabulary, and so English ballooned into the massive lexicon we use today.